We are Group 21, and today we're going to present the topic for SWOT analysis on investing the real estate industry in Vietnam and Cambodia. Here is our table of contents. The real estate investment in the Southeast Asia region has been growing because the Chinese manufacturing cost has been rising. The joining of ASEA and economic integration by Cambodia and Vietnam further encouraged the investment opportunities. More and more foreign investors are entering into the industrial development and real estate markets. Financial developments in real estate sectors has been largely improved in Cambodia and Vietnam. Our group will consider the SWOT analysis to evaluate the situations of real estate investment in Cambodia and Vietnam. SWOT analysis is considered as the most strategic analysis method. Strengths and weaknesses are determined by the internal factors, while internal factors consideration helps the country sustain with the internal dilemmas brought by the external factors, so it is very important. Meanwhile, consideration of opportunities and threats help the country achieve long-term goals.
Now let's talk about the strength of Cambodia and Vietnam. For Cambodia, one of the strengths is compelling policy to foreign direct investment. The cost of labor in Cambodia is reasonable. Low wages and raw material could make foreign direct investment more desirable and competitive. In order to further attract inward FDI, Cambodia has relaxed its regulations and adopted higher investment-friendly policy. Under the 1994 investment law, Cambodia has provided generous incentives for qualified investment projects. One of these incentives include reduction in the corporate income tax. In terms of land permit, all investors are free to use land, including concession, indefinite long-term lease, and limited short-term lease with extensions, which means that 100% foreign ownership is allowed in Cambodia. Besides, special economic zones has been created in Cambodia to further promote foreign investment. These zones provide land, infrastructure, and service to foreign companies, thereby facilitating the setup and operation of business. Companies in the zones are also provided with financial incentives, such as tax holidays and import tax exemptions. Similar cultural practice also contribute to the strength of Cambodia. A number of prominent business leaders and senior government officials have close ties with the Chinese companies operating in Cambodia. Friendly relations help mitigate the cultural gaps and allow locals to develop natural or positive attitude toward foreign investors. Currently, China is actively supporting the revival of Chinese community in Cambodia by promoting the language schools and Chinese newspaper, also providing support to Cambodian Chinese social organizations. To be more specific, more than 1,000 scholarships and 700 fellowships for Cambodian students to receive higher education or short-term training in the past 10 years. This further education training is provided local companies with management-level talent, which could help Chinese companies to relocate to Cambodia. It was unavoidable that Cambodians would start learning Chinese as a way to earn a higher income and better access to the job market. This will greatly reduce the language barrier and foster common culture and background, thus promoting business ties between Chinese private companies and Cambodian business interests.
I'm checking and talking about the strength analysis on Vietnam. And the first strength is that the investment law in Vietnam is favorable to foreign investors. To attract more foreign investment, in 2014, the government body of Vietnam has passed a law of investment to improve the legal system of investment in Vietnam. And some of the terms is very favorable for foreign investor. According to Section 1.1 of Chapter 3, foreign investor could apply for lower corporate tax and reduction of land rent. And this law can attract more foreign investments, and it's beneficial to foreign investors like us, as we are able to pay with a lower tax rate. And another strength is that there could be an enormous growth of the Vietnam property price in the future because of the increasing foreign investment. And as I just mentioned, there are more and more foreign investments coming to Vietnam. And the money can stimulate the economics and the property market in Vietnam. And in fact, the price of the property and foreign investment keep increasing since 2002, as shown in the graph. And after the loosening of the investment policy, investor is even more willing to invest in Vietnam market. This could be a key pushing factor to real estate market in Vietnam. And besides the legal factor, Vietnam is also a superior political environment. Due to the worsening relationship of between the United States of America and China, various bans are introduced on China. But on the other side, Vietnam government has signed with the US government the US-Vietnam bilateral trade agreements, and Vietnam has also signed free trade agreement in 2019 with the European Unions, and more countries move their supply chains, such as Apple, move their supply chains to Vietnam because of its free trading policies. And the economic environment in Vietnam is going to improve, and it could also be stimulating the real estate market in Vietnam and improve the real estate market. And another point worth to mention is that the labor force is also a key factor to the real estate market in Vietnam. According to statistics, the minimum wage of the workers in Vietnam is about 1,550 Hong Kong dollars per month. And low labor costs could attract more investment in Vietnam because of low risk and investment cost. And moreover, the structure of Vietnam labor force is very healthy. According to statistics, the average age of worker in Vietnam is only 32.5. The average age of China's is already 38.4 years old. This means that available blue-collar workforce in Vietnam is sufficient and may remain cheap in the foreseeable future. This is the reason why I think the real estate market in Vietnam is going to prosper in the foreseeable future.
There are also real estate investment weaknesses in Cambodia and Vietnam. In Cambodia, the oversupply of condos is severe. Industrial relocation has led to the influx of labor migrants from rural areas, expanding the lower income group in Cambodia. But condos are overpriced for the locals and labor migrants because workers are poorly paid. Moreover, there are excessive condos projects in Cambodia. Cambodia heavily relies on foreign investment, but there are no definite indicators predicting the demand from investors. This puts extreme pressure on the property market, and vacancy rates of condos will be more and more serious. There are two situations Cambodia's investors will be facing. The first situation is that the investors kept investing into the market. At last, the housing prices will reach the peak and the economic bubble will burst. The second situation is that the foreign investors kept leaving the market. At last, the oversupply of condos will become more and more disastrous because no locals can afford the condos. Therefore, the oversupply of condos is the major dilemma in Cambodia, where government policies are required to tackle this issue. Another weakness is that Cambodia has declining labor competitiveness. Over half of the industry owners claimed that their workers cannot perform their duties to the required standard. Even if the workers are provided with training, they barely reach the satisfactory level. This lowers the profitable opportunities for the investors because longer time is required by the investors to adjust the labor productivity problems. Instead of proceeding with industrial investments in Cambodia, investors would prefer selecting other Southeast countries with stabilized labor productivity rates, such as Vietnam and Thailand. Besides, skilled workforce was also lacking in Cambodia because training is limited to large firms. The ecosystem to deliver the work training in Cambodia is underdeveloped. Lack of training support would be challenging for the foreign manufacturers to employ locals in management roles. This hinders the SME development and FDI attraction because SME employers cannot find skilled labor for the company. At the end, foreign investors would be unwilling to emerge into the SME market. Apart from Cambodia, there are also weaknesses in Vietnam.
Thank you, Alvin and Jin, and here we'll talk about weakness analysis of Vietnam. First of all, we'll talk about the first weakness. It is the below standard policy refining use of land. Vietnam enlisted in the bottom of all transition nations in the early 2000s. In recent years, we can see a rapid development of regulations, for example, the law on investment and the law on real estate. Overall, Vietnam has an improvement on the property rights, but still it remains far short of the international norms. Furthermore, foreign investors are advised to lease property from the government rather than from the land users. Specific lands are given to the developers for certain projects with areas shown in plan, which limited the use of the land. Furthermore, only investors that pay the yearly land fees are permitted to construct real estate, for example, rental homes. Also, the Vietnam government requires the foreigners to turn over rental properties or unsold homes to the government. By the transition of ownership, it increases the cost or investment in real estate properties. The second weakness for the Vietnam property market is the limited infrastructure for industrial lands. There are almost no fresh land to draw in international investors in the future, as over 90% of the industrial parks in important industrial districts are occupied. It is estimated it takes at least 2 or more years to increase the land fund in existing locations. This will increase the time and expenses for industrial investment. Thus, the investor might invest their money in other Southeast Asia countries. Furthermore, if the investor ceases to invest in Vietnam lands, there will be a high cost of shipping commodity problems. For example, in the Thailand city, we can see that it's not immediately connected to sea ports. This will result in a higher initial transportation costs. Secondly, there will be a significant development in export demands. For example, from the Haiphong port clusters, there are a sharp increase in the cargo volume in 2019. If there are more investment in this area, higher transport congestion, which increase travel costs. Here's the end of my part, and my team will talk about the opportunities in these two countries. Thank you.
I will talk about the opportunities analysis on Cambodia. First, I will talk about the BRI. In 2013, that holds the policy of the Belt and the Road Initiative, and it aims to strengthen the regional connectivity. As the Cambodia is one of the info countries, the BRI helps it develop the infrastructure such as the energy, facility, and highway. As the infrastructure has become mature, the national communities has increased, and more people are willing to live in Cambodia, although it seems not directly relates to the US investment. Photoshop notes that the investor view a national longer-term goal prospect horizontally. Therefore, the local and the international investor will enhance their confidence of the US investment in the Cambodia. In addition, the BRI increased the demand of the housing in Cambodia. In order to help the Cambodia construct the infrastructure, every work type of the Chinese will come to the Cambodia, and the demand of the housing will be increased, and it can resolve the oversupply of the Cambodia properties. Moreover, a lot of capital will come in when the Chinese will come to the Cambodia, and they will invest their money in the risk market, and it can revive the economic purpose of the property market. Another opportunities is the Southeast Asia Games and the Association of the Southeast Asia National Para Games. These two games are two significant events that will be hosted in the Cambodia in 2023. According to the Chung Element, Cambodia is expecting there are 2 million tourism in 2023. Those huge number of tourism will greatly stimulate the demand of the property market. For the residential property, it will lead the huge demand of the housing for tourism and relieve the oversupply of the housing. For the conventional property, it will lead a huge demand of the shopping mall, and it can increase the international community investment. Moreover, as Cambodia has not enough capital to conduct the event, the multi-international community will become a sponsor, and their capital also will come in the local and bettering the environment in the Cambodia real estate market. That's all my part. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric. I would like to talk about the opportunity analysis of Vietnam. Firstly, Vietnam is a strategic location is in the center of a Southeast Asia. It is easily observed on the map that there has a long coastline and is close to a lot of international trading routes. Because of a series of economic advantages caused by the special geographical location, there are a number of massive trade accords, including the BRI. Yeah, here. Yes, BRI, CPTPP, EVFTA, UKVFTA has been centers of Vietnam. Also, in the year 2020, the trade accords RCEP is scheduled to go into force. Due to a Vietnam enforcement in many trade accords, many investors believe that Vietnam's economy will be better, and it can start to attract more countries and foreigners to invest there. Okay, another opportunity for the Vietnam is about the trade war between the US and China. The trade wars between the US and China has maintained almost 5 years. Both parties has increased the tax on imports and exports in order to improve the other economic development. Moreover, US discovered that Vietnam is a good country to develop the manufacturing industry because of a lower manufacturing price and labor costs. Therefore, US has started to invest in Vietnam and decided to relocate those factories from China to Vietnam. That's how increase workforces and create more job position. In the long run, it can increase income and rise of middle class, thereby leading to a strong GDP in Vietnam. Where has a strong GDP, DS can help boost the development of real estate investment. Okay, also, we also can no doubt that another opportunity because of the increasing of foreign investment. As you can see in this PowerPoint, there are a lot of investment and impacting into the Vietnam. So I think it can help to boost the development of the real estate there. It means the potential profits of real estate have been increased with foreign investment. So yeah, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Next, we are going to talk about fresh analysis for real estate investment in Cambodia and Vietnam, and I'm going to start from Cambodia.
Natural hazards such as flooding can be a threat to real estate investment. Flooding may damage buildings, such as weakening building structures, affecting surrounding soils and settlements of the buildings, or even causing structural damage to the building. Flooding may damage the buildings and reduce their values, which can bring losses to the investments. Southeast Asia has been severely affected by climate change, such as increases in sea levels. To protect real estate in these dangerous areas, proper management and proper countermeasures should be carried out and implemented. However, the drainage infrastructure and relevant system in Phnom Penh, which is the capital of Cambodia, is inefficient. And the infrastructures in Phnom Penh are vulnerable to flooding. Natural hazards such as flooding may lead to losses for real estate investment. Over-reliance on China may also be another threat. China has become the most important partner in terms of strategic and economic partner with the Belt and Road Initiative policy. However, social and political problems between China and the United States have led to trade war. Pressure from Western countries for various issues, such as human rights abuses, has been applied to Cambodia. Investment from Western countries has been reduced but further strengthened the bond between Cambodia and China. Foreign direct investment from China to Cambodia has accounted for up to 90%. However, if China encounters financial crisis or other financial problems, such as due to the trade war between China and the United States, China may need to halt the project and retrieve investment in Cambodia. Workers may become unemployed and the overall economy of Cambodia has also enfeebled. All the investment in Cambodia may suffer losses. In addition, there are also threats in real estate investment in Vietnam.
The first factor is the COVID-19. As when the COVID-19 starts, the Vietnam government adopted the lockdown policy, the suspension of all public transport, and control movement in and out of the city. All the commercial and industrial activities stopped. Also, when there is Delta virus in 2021, it really affected the industrial part in the south side of Vietnam. That many workers are escaping from the city and go back to their hometown because they are afraid of the virus. By the estimate of the Vietnam government, there are 2 million of people are living in the industrial park because of the labor shortage, which affect the Vietnam factory and the global supply chain. There are 80% of your firm already transferred their factory order from Vietnam to another country. It makes some popular brands have more will to set the factory to another country other than Vietnam. The second factor is natural hazard. The Vietnam government reported that the disaster loss in 2021 is $15 billion. As the coastline in Vietnam is very long, so it is very easy to be attacked by storm and flood. From the World Bank report, there are 1,180 million people in Vietnam who are under the fear of flood, and there are 35% of rest they are located in crowded area and coastline area, which means it's easy to be attacked by natural hazard. In last year, there are 14 typhoons in Vietnam, which cause big rain, flood, and landslide. In some factories are landed in low-lying area. When there is bad weather coming, like typhoon number 8, it will face flood. It will cause damage of the building. Also, the infrastructure in Vietnam is very bad. When there is face natural hazard, it will also cause a power outage and water outage. If there is no any power and water supply, all the residential, commercial, and industrial real estate cannot be worked. It will affect the whole country economy. As Vietnam is very easy to be attacked by the natural hazard. So natural hazard make the brand think whether choose to start factory in Vietnam because they need to bear the risk when facing the natural hazard in Vietnam.
That's all for the SWOT analysis of investing in real estate in Cambodia and Vietnam. To conclude, the strengths of investing in Cambodia will be compelling policies towards foreign direct investment and similar cultural practices. The government policies are favorable for real estate investment in both countries. Similar cultural practices and a competitive labor market are also strengths for Cambodia and Vietnam respectively. Other than strengths, the Belt and Road Initiative and the CGAM and ASEAN Power Game may induce opportunities in investing in Cambodia, while the strategic location of Vietnam and the trade war may favor the investment in Vietnam. However, oversupply of condominiums and declining labor competitiveness will be the weaknesses of investing in Cambodia, while below standard property rights with finite use of land and limited infrastructure for industrial land will be weaknesses for investing in Vietnam. Last but not least, exposure to natural hazards can be a threat in investing in Cambodia and Vietnam. Over-reliance on China's investment in real estate sectors may induce risks on investment in Cambodia, and the COVID-19 may also threaten the profit gain investing in Vietnam. Here are the reference lists for the presentation. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.